Yes, welcome to Football Heritage TV for a little bit of Tottenham fever. Somebody pointed out I do like a name of a show. I do. Chat GPT gives me rubbish ones, so I get my own ones. Big up to Stel from Tottenham away. Stel, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not bad. Firefighting. Everyday firefighting.
Yeah.
The latest drama, the latest opinion that hasn't been appreciated. But
what did you say? Go on, tell us. What was the latest one?
Well, my latest one is that we should stop buying homegrown young talent for the first team because we're disastrous at it, and we should just focus on developing the academy players as the homegrown quota. You know, if you think about it,
Yeah,
Rodon, Spence, Sessegnon, Clark, Brennan Johnson. I'll put him in there. When's the last time we signed a young homegrown talent for the first team where you've gone, yeah?
Well, so there you go. Well, there's the first point, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. Who was the last homegrown talent? Homegrown. Don't be chucking in Adogies, Papa Sars. Last homegrown talent Spurs signed from another club that you go, yeah, you're a top player or made the first team. This is a great question. Would you say? I mean, Gareth Bale, if we're going to go to the extreme of world class, was someone that did brilliantly. Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale's probably the last one we signed where he was young, maybe late teens, early 20, that kind of bracket, that ended up having an impact on the first team. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
someone that actually had an impact, not someone that makes up the numbers. Dele Alli, yeah.
Dele Alli for a few years, yeah. Dele Alli for a few years. Yeah. Before that, you would have said Michael Dawson from Forest.
Yeah, we're going back, but Dawson.
I know, mate. I know we're going back. I know. I on my show this morning, I said someone was saying to me about did Levy do the right thing in accepting the bid for Harry Kane? And I was saying, look, Harry Kane wanted to go, blah, blah, blah. And my point behind all of that was, and we will get to the main point of the show in a minute, was that the three best players that have come out of Tottenham's academy in the Premier League era, I don't think it's a debate. You let me know. Is Ledley King, Sol Campbell, and Harry Kane? I think those three are head and shoulders above the rest. One of them retired due to injury. So we made no money. Ledley King. The other one went to.
I think Kyle Walker is not a bad shout as well.
Oh, Kyle Walker, yeah. We go back, but King retired, didn't get any money for him for the player he was, right? Mm-hmm. Sol Campbell love him, hate him, whatever. World class centre back, free. There was no way they could let Harry Kane just fizzle down a contract and walk away for £0 again. Like, you can't. At some point, you've got to make some money out your academy, right?
Yeah, but you see, that was actually an argument in the summer, and I was fighting tooth and nail with half our fan base, saying there is no way Daniel Levy is going to allow the best player at the club, the most expensive asset, forget football, asset, balance sheet, to just get wiped off the balance sheet as a zero. That's not going to happen. He's going to have to take some money because he's going to then have to explain to the investors and the shareholders and the board why £100 million just got wiped off the balance sheet. It's not happening, people. So when Harry Kane made it clear he wasn't going to stay, of course we were going to sell him. But you could see that coming a mile off.
No, mate, listen, I completely agree with you. And lots of people were saying to me, but, if he was here this year, yeah, ifs, buts and maybes. If Harry Kane was with us this year, I'm sitting here talking about titles. I'm sitting here talking about, now I'm intrigued. But you can't let a player like that walk away for free. But listen, let's get to the main point of the show. Big up, let's say a few hellos. Hello to people in the chat, GBC fans here. Big up to you. Big up to Mark Cook. Big up to Daryl Denton. BT is in the house. Rob Belcher's in the house. Good day to you. Donna Cullen is in the house. What weird and wonderful comments I'm sure we're going to get from you throughout the next hour or so. Calamera, Mr. Stelios. Someone's been looking at the basics of Greek language. If we beat City, we win the cup. We'll get to that. We're going to talk about the City Cup game. Sessis Gami Hammy's here. Frankie Kiernan, big up to you. Big up to Football Heritage TV. That's me. Please subscribe. Subscribe to Tottenham Away as well. Yes, my interview went very well, I think. We'll find out on Friday, but thank you very much. What a combination of guests. Yeah, I always try and mix up my guests. You've got to get all the characters on, ain't you? In the characters. Ryan Isaacs in the chat. Stel is in the mud. This this so-called mud that everyone likes to talk about. Stel, let's start, right? Let's start by talking about, if I was to say to you, right, we're 21 games into the season, how would you rate this year so far and everything that's happened at the club since Postecoglou and Scott Mann and Johan Lang, since these guys arrived? How would you summarise Tottenham Hotspur?
On the basis we lost Harry Kane, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. If we get top 4 and win a trophy, it's a 10 out of 10. So, but we're basing it on where we're at now. So at the moment, I give it an 8 out of 10. Mm-hmm. No matter where we finish now, unless we don't get into Europe, I'm not going to go lower than an 8 out of 10 for the rest of the season. For me to go up 9 or 10 is because we've won a trophy or we've got top 4. I'd take the FA Cup over top 4 all day long if I had a choice. So I think we've done well in the sense that we've established a way of playing. We've established an identity. If we go back 2 months ago, a lot of rival fans were saying, ha ha, high line, ha ha, Postecoglou, he's naive, ha ha, you can't do what you're doing. It's not sustainable. You must adapt when you've got injuries. He's proven them all wrong. He's proven, I think, a lot of fans wrong. Even some of us thought, well, maybe we should just change it a little bit. He has adapted a bit, but overall, what he's done is he's stuck to his way of playing. He's establishing the foundations of what he wants us to do going forward. And you're now hearing rival fans after a draw saying, look at you lot, man. Why can't Ten Hag do that? We're skipping Højbjerg in midfield. Like, so...
And you're seeing rival fans as well saying that they wish they had a Postecoglou. You know, I was on a show the other morning where I said to Saeed from Man U, I said, you guys need a Postecoglou. You know, and I truly believe this guy's done a really good job. There were a lot of people that doubted the credentials of coming from the Scottish League and the Australian League and the Japanese League, but his man-to-man management appears to be up there with the very best, doesn't it? Would you say that's one of his strongest assets?
I think the best thing about Ange, and it's how he's brought everyone on board. By the way, block that big boss man. He's an idiot. He's starting again.
I know.
The one biggest quality of Ange Postecoglou, because listen, Savva, I will defend Conte and Jose. We can go at it back and forth. The one thing I'll give Ange over any manager we've had, maybe even Poch as well, who I liked, this guy takes ownership of everything. Like, he owns it. If we lose, it's on me. If our team don't play well, even if we've got injuries and suspensions, it's on me. He doesn't moan. Like, he literally gets on with it. And I think by doing that, it's almost impossible to dislike him. And he's brought people on board by having that demeanor. He's a human being. He's not scared to show he's a human being. He doesn't think, right, I'm the manager, right, I'm in charge here. Let me put on I've got to speak a certain way, or I've got to play to the cameras, or do you know what? I'm pissed off with Daniel Levy. I'm pissed off with the recruitment team. I'm going to say something like, I'm not the manager, I'm the coach. He stays humble and he comes across like a human being. And I think because of that, he's brought the players on board. He's brought the coaching team on board. He's brought the board on board. He's brought the fans on board. He's brought the rivals and the media on board. Gary Neville can't stop praising Ange. Like, Gary Neville, every time they'll ask him a question about Man United, and Gary Neville's answer is, I love watching Spurs. No, Gary, we asked you about Man United. Yeah, but I really like Spurs. So I think that ownership that he's taken is the key to his man management skills from what I've seen, like just listening and watching when he does interviews.
Yeah, it just feels like, do you know what I almost liken it to? A very different character with some similar traits. Almost liken it to, like when we got in Harry Redknapp, and it just seemed like a normal bloke. There wasn't this ego that went with it. It was just, I'm a football manager. I'm going to put my arm around them, send them out there, get them playing some good football, and we're going to crack on with it. I mean, look, lots of people want to have the conversation already about how far can he take us? Is he better than Poch? All these things that you can't really answer in year one, right? Because we don't know where this is going to go. But good times for Spurs. And off the back of that comment of good times for Spurs, still, I want to talk about the FA Cup briefly. Okay. So When the draw came out, Man City at home, you had, I think, a few people that doubled down on, well, doesn't matter, you got to beat the best to win it.
Yeah.
And then you had people like myself saying, yeah, cool. I don't want Man City in the fourth round. I want Man City in a final, right? I don't want Man City in a fourth round. But people are saying this is our best chance to win the FA Cup for years. This is a sentence I've heard still. You would have, everyone in the chat would have heard. Yeah. It's our best chance for 30 years since we won it. Would you ideally, we'll talk about the Man City game in more detail in a minute, but would you ideally at this stage would have wanted Man City at home, or would you want to be avoiding them in the fourth round?
No, I don't want them now because we haven't got Maddison and Son, so or Bissouma or Pape Sarr. So for me, I think we're going to go. Look, we always write ourselves off, and we always do the unthinkable against Man City. So if we knock them out, I won't be surprised 1-0. If we beat them 1-0 and they don't score at White Hart Lane again, I won't be surprised. I actually think this time we might come unstuck because I just think we've got that one too many player missing, and they're getting their best players back now. So I think the timing is actually bad. However, if we lose to City, I won't be gutted because you kind of always expect to lose to them. If we beat them, it's City. If we beat City, I won't be surprised because we are their bogey team. For me, I'm not worried about City. Liverpool's the only club in this competition remaining that I actually am concerned about because they always have our number in the cups. Always. For decades. They've had only 1995, Klinsmann and Sheringham at Anfield. That's the last time we beat them in the cup. So
City, but would you say? Whatever. Let me ask you that though. I mean, look. We have. I was looking at the stats, the data the other day of Tottenham versus Man City for the last 3 games, 10 games, 20 games, 30 games, and look, it is very, very close. And we've had some wins, we've had some draws, we've had some defeats, and I love that everyone's putting, we've got City's number, blah blah blah. But let's be brutally honest. When we've had their number in terms of beating them has been very much when we've been with those managers that sit back and allow us to counterattack them. What we're seeing now is, and I think we can all acknowledge this, we love the style of play, but this style of play is going to leave you open at the back. It is that it's naturally going to do that, right? City have had it for years. But the great Barcelona team had it where if you get caught, you get caught. This is a different City setup and a different Spurs setup to previous years. Does that not sway the opinion a bit more in terms of, God, this is going to be a really different game at our ground against them?
We said the same thing. We went to the Etihad and we got a 3-3 draw. Don't get me wrong, for 45 minutes, they battered us and they've missed every chance under the sun. But that's the voodoo bit, isn't it, with them? Like they just seem to shit themselves when they play Spurs. I don't know why. That's why I'm not as worried about the City game as what I should be. Look, like I've said, I think the timing of this game is actually bad for us because De Bruyne is back, Haaland's going to be back, Stones is back, Doku's back, and we've not got Son. Kulu's ill. We haven't got Maddison. We don't have Pape Sarr. We don't have Bissouma. I just feel that the timing might actually get City over the line this time. But the amount of times I've written us off against City and we just, it's like the gods look down on us and say, right, there's VAR. There's 5 missed chances from players at City that normally score those bread and butter goals, but today they're not going to get them. And then other players step up with wonder goals like Lo Celso. It's like, well, where did that just come from, right?
Yeah. Look. By the way, I'm not saying I think Man City are unbeatable. Do I want to play them? I absolutely don't. I think one of the key things I'd say still is in terms of, is it the best time to play them without Maddison and Son? We know Son will definitely miss the game. Maddison is 50-50, but even then, playing a player that's been out for 3.5 months in a position where he's going to be chasing a lot. City make you chase. They make you tired, right? It's if we've got the ball, the other team can't hurt us and we'll make them tired. So be interesting to see if he starts. But this is a City team now still. I don't know if you've seen the stats. They're 1 defeat in 19. 1 defeat in 19 in all competitions. They've won
the best team in Europe.
9 of 10. They're averaging 3.1 goals a game. And I'm just looking at the number of times Rashford got in behind us. Now, Rashford isn't clinical. I'm looking at the number of times Everton did. And I'm just thinking to my Bournemouth, and I'm thinking to myself, I'll be honest, I'm scared. I'll happily play the villain. I'm scared of playing them. I think they're going to get at that back 4 with ease. It's whether or not they can finish. I think it's going to be the difference between us knocking them out or not. Is there any merit in that, or am I over worrying?
No, they will get in behind us because we give chances to every team. Like Bournemouth had chances against us. Brighton put 4 past us, right? So, but we've got Van der Ven and Romero back, which is our best defence.
Yeah.
So that gives me a bit more confidence. I think as well, the thing with Rashford getting in behind Porro is because I've noticed when we play Brennan on the right, his work rate isn't there.
Yeah.
And he doesn't track back.
He doesn't help him, does he?
Whereas as much criticism as Kulu gets, his work rate is always there. So I feel that if Brennan and Porro play in that wide area, then they will get in behind on that side because Porro pushes up. You just don't. I'm done predicting City Spurs games, Savva.
Yeah, it's tough.
I get it. I get it wrong every time, man.
No, it is tough. It is tough. I think the one time I predicted us to beat them because we've been playing well against them in recent years, they went and beat us 4-2, and then it's kind of like, hang on. Then when I say, we're losing this one, you're like, it's 3-3, or we've won 1-0. Listen, it should be a great game, but if we beat, let's have a look at the hypotheticals. We'll start with a positive. We beat Man City. We go into the next round of the cup. Other than Liverpool, should there be anyone there that you look at in the remainder of the teams left and say, hang on, we could go all the way here? Because Liverpool, if you can avoid them, brilliant. But other than that, who's left? That would be City out. That would be Arsenal out. Villa or Chelsea, one of them is going.
Right, the only hope we've got with Liverpool is that no, I don't fear anyone. If we get past City, I don't fear anyone other than Liverpool. The only hope we've got with Liverpool is our best players are back, and because Liverpool in 4 competitions, they will rotate. We won't rotate. You saw they put in almost a B team against Arsenal. They had 2 kids in midfield. They brought 2 kids on as a sub as well. So at the Emirates, they didn't put a strong team out, and they had no Van Dijk. So for me, if they were to do that against us at our ground, and we had a full strength team, then it's game on. At Anfield, you never know. It's Anfield, right? But at our ground,
of course,
I would say that is the best chance we're going to get in a long time. So hopefully they stay in all competitions, because then I do see them rotating. Whereas we won't. I know we won't rotate. We'll go for it.
Yeah, a lot to be said for that. I mean, look, Liverpool are. I don't want to say low key going about their business, because it's Liverpool. They're always up there, but they've lost one game. They've lost one game in 21. One in 20. They've lost one game in 20, which was VAR gate, or whatever you want to call it, at White Hart Lane. No one else has been able to beat them. They're in the next rounds they're in the knockout stages of the Europa League. They're in the semi-final of the League Cup, and they're 2-1 up against Wolves. That's a complete lie, against Fulham. And now they've got, I believe it's Bristol. I want to say they've got Norwich or Bristol Rovers at Anfield. Could we see another good year from them? Like that, is that why they're being touted as favourites for the FA Cup right now, above Spurs and City?
Yeah, for me right now, Liverpool's the second best team in England. They're better than Arsenal. They're when they're on it, properly on it, I would argue maybe they've got the best attacking prowess, even edging City, I would say. As a collective,
options, haven't they? They've got options.
They've got goal scorers.
Yeah,
they've got goal scorers.
Yeah.
Whereas City, I think they're the better team, better squad. So, yeah, look. I expect Liverpool to win a trophy this year. They probably will win the Carabao Cup. You make them favourites for the Europa. The league, they're more City most probably. And then the FA Cup, they're probably favourites for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a good team.
Them and City.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've said City all along. I'll stick with them. But yeah, Liverpool are right there. And on a show I did yesterday, I looked at both City and Liverpool's next 7 games in the league, and I can't see where either of them are dropping. If I'm brutally honest, maybe 6 wins and a draw. But City have got the likes of Burnley at home, Everton at home. and Man United at home. Let's be fair, like people will go, it's a derby, but they'll batter them. So, and Liverpool have got just as good a game, so it's going to be really, really interesting. I want to go back to the Man City game, and I want to start talking about a few of our players. A couple of players that have been praised, and a couple of players that have been getting stick. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Brennan Johnson. This is one of those players. I feel like I say this about 90% of our players. This is one of those players where it really does divide the opinion of the fan base, right? So you get the die-hard, hate that phrase, can't believe I've used it, but that die-hard kind of, just give him time, he will come good. Then you get fans like me going, yeah, but I never wanted him because I've never seen anything in him anyway. It's not like I've seen something in him and he's just not playing well here. I've never seen it in him. Where are you with Brennan Johnson? And for that Man City game, would you play him or would you put a Coglou out there, someone who's capable of holding the ball up a bit more? What do you make of those two things?
Right.
Look at the smile. Look at the smile on your face. Look.
Because
I know where this is going.
I have had more personal abuse the last 5 days because I have an opinion on Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson and Richarlison that fans don't want to hear. And rather than having a footballing debate, a footballing argument where they counter what I say, it's literally, you're dumb, screw your mum, go die, you're a pedo. And I sit there and then it gets shared by other platforms and then they say things like, Stel's nasty, Stel's horrible. I'm not the one getting personal. How am I all I've done back is occasionally say, you're stupid, you're a loser. And then I block them all. I haven't mentioned anyone's family, private life.
Just go and kill yourself. Yeah.
And then I even get then all my content gets reshared into private Facebook groups with thousands of Spurs fans. We're getting called gooners, scumbags. There's other YouTube channels that I'm friends with. They're jumping in. Yeah, what they talking about? Really? Look, I'm scared to speak on this subject, Savva. Like, I'm genuinely scared.
Listen, say I'll start. Still, what if I start? I'll start. I don't care. Listen, love Ange. Love what the club are doing. Love the direction. Doesn't mean I have to sit here and agree with every single signing the club make. Man City fans don't agree with every signing they make. Liverpool fans question signings that they make. Liverpool fans at the moment are in that 50-50 zone with Endo, for example. But no one's going, oh, you ate Klopp. No, they're just questioning a player. I'll say it. I've looked at Brennan Johnson for years where people have been raving about him. And I watch him and I just think he looks like any other quick winger without real technical ability. He looks like a quick winger who every now and then is going to do something good still because he's got that pace and he'll get him behind. But when teams like Man United, who sat back and said, break us down, when teams like Man United play out-and-out fullbacks that can defend like Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, say, come on, beat us, he's not that guy. He's not got that ability in his feet. I just don't think he's good enough. And I think that £50 million could have been spent. 50 million this summer. Do you know what it got you, Stel? 50 million this summer got you Diaby from Villa. It got you Cole Palmer from Chelsea. It got you Anthony Gordon. It got you Mohamed Kudus. And there's one more I'm thinking of as well. I can't think who it is. It got you Jeremy Doku.
Douglas Luiz.
Right? But all those wingers were 50 million or under. And we got Brennan Johnson. And people are doubling down. So I'll start. There you go. I'll be a villain.
So here's the thing, right? This is the argument I've heard. Give him a chance. He's young. The Dogie's young. Van der Ven's young. Pape Sarr's young. Where's the argument now? They've hit the ground running because they haven't been phased by the big stage. They haven't come to a bigger club from where they were and been lost. You look at Brennan Johnson whenever the camera's on him, he's like this. He's like a deer in headlights.
But also, still,
it's another ability.
They may all be young, but they've got ability. You can see the ability in them immediately. You're a coach. You see it in a player immediately. You go, you can play.
Listen, I think Johnson has some ability. I just feel that this is too big of a stage for him. He hasn't got the confidence for this. It reminds me of Sessegnon. Brilliant in the Championship for Fulham. Did well when they pushed him as a left winger. Soon as he came to Spurs, oh my God, this is a big stadium. What you play in Europe? I just think Brennan Johnson, this is too big of a step for him, and we're gonna have to sit here and wait. Like this is what's wound me up with Spurs regarding what we've done with one section of the team. Right? I know things take time.
Yep.
I appreciate this rebuild's going to take time, but look at it from my angle. You brought in Vicario, you brought in Van de Ven, you've brought Udogie back from loan. You look at the back five, the defensive unit: Vicario, Porro, Udogie, Van de Ven, Romero. You'd say that is pretty good, right? That is a pretty good base.
Yep.
Right. Then you look at the midfield. We brought in Maddison. Bissouma's come back from exile. Bentancur's back from his long-term injury. Pape Sarr's slowly developing. You're thinking, right, Sarr, Bissouma, Maddison, Bentancur, nice.
Yeah.
The signings that have come in, the players that have come back from injury, you're like, do you know what? The midfield looks okay. It looks okay. Then I look at the forward line, right? We sold Harry Kane for £100 million. £100 million we sold Harry Kane. I appreciate you can't replace like for like. So maybe we're going to buy a couple of players that contribute and do what Kane did. With the Kane money, so to speak, or with off the back of selling Kane, look at the forward line players we've signed under Postecoglou. Solomon on a free. Timo Werner on a free. Brennan Johnson, a kid, 50 million, and Veliz, another kid that no one's heard of. So from Harry Kane, we've gone to Solomon, Timo, Veliz, and Johnson. Have I not got a right as a Spurs fan to say, what have we just done there? You fixed the defence, you fixed the midfield, but then when it comes to the forward players, the attacking, goal-scoring, creative players, you've done nothing. You've literally done.
But this is it, though. I mean,
I say this. Oh, you hate Tottenham. No, I'm praising the defensive signings. I'm praising the goalie. I'm praising the midfield. I'm saying we are an attacking front foot team and we haven't got goal scorers.
Like, do you know what? This is interesting, right? This is interesting. I completely agree with you. And by the way, before I keep going on, there's 505 of you in here, and 140 likes. Which is absolutely shocking. Please, can we get that to 250, 300 likes as quickly as possible? Thank you to anyone that has subscribed to me. We're only 150 odd away from 13K. Please do subscribe. Get over and subscribe to Tottenham Away. If anyone would be so kind to put that link for Tottenham Away in the chat so that I don't have to stop and go away and do it, that would be absolutely amazing.
Savva, can I just say, by the way, because I'm just looking at a couple of comments in the chat.
Yeah.
Richarlison and Kulu were not signed under Ange. I'm talking about the signings under this new data-driven Scott Munn, McKenzie, Johan Lange, Paratici. Under this new regime, the forward players we've signed, none of them for me are of the level that match the defensive or midfield signings we've made.
Yeah, look, I completely agree with you. And by the way, I'm seeing a lot of comments now. And what we do is we get comments like this where they say, would you rather Werner or Hill starting? Yeah, but that's not the point. I would rather none of them. I would rather that we actually went and got a top player. Look, I think the key thing for me is I understand, like, if we're going to look at Werner, I understand it's a loan. I understand that I'm hoping it means that something bigger and better is coming in the summer. That's what I'm going to cling on to. But Stel is right, people, right? Stel is right. When I look at Spurs and then I look at the bigger clubs above us, I look at it and go, am I happy with, when everyone's fit, our defensive options? If you look at, am I happy with Van de Ven, Romero, Dragoshin, probably one more that will come in the summer? Yes. Am I happy with Porro, Udogie? Right? Yes. Right? Happy with that. Is Vicario a top keeper? Yes. Like Stel said, am I happy with Bentancur, Bissouma, Sarr, Maddison? Even Kulu can go into that. Yes, good options. where we are levels below the other. I say the other teams. Let's be fair. It's two. It's Liverpool and City. Where we are below those levels for me is you look at the forwards they can put out. You look at the forwards City and Liverpool can put out, and you look at the forwards we can put out. Son aside, I'm not putting Son in this bracket. He is the one, right? They have options galore. Liverpool, no matter how you want to break it down, Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes, Salah, Jota, all score, all assist, right? All dangerous in their own way, right? They've got 5. Spurs have got Son and then meh. City, Haaland's missed 9 games. They've scored 3.1 goals a game since Haaland's been missing. They've got Haaland, Alvarez, Doku, Foden, Bernardo Silva, I'm probably missing Grealish. And that for me still is, I don't get it. It's almost like we're willing to pay in other areas, but when it comes to those forward positions, it's like we won't go for it. It's like everyone wants the young up and comer. Everyone wants the Brennan Johnson or the Solomon. It's like, but when are we going to go, there's a top player that the whole fan base says, whoa, that's a player.
The thing is, right, you look at Spurs, right? Let's look at some clubs that maybe are struggling a little bit. Martinelli and Saka, in an Ange system, the way we play, I think they're fire. You look at Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, okay? I know Udogie pocketed Garnacho. I think Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, in an Ange system, in the environment he's created, I think they thrive. I think they thrive here. But for whatever reason it is, we seem to bring in players that don't have anything about them that makes you think, you know what? I can really see an exciting talent in this player. I really see something special. I look at Solomon and I'm like, you're all right. You're all right, but that's it. I look at Brennan Johnson, I think you're just another one of these homegrown punts like Rodon and Sessegnon and Spence. I don't get it. Then I look at Timo Werner. My thoughts on Timo are this. He's an awful goal scorer. He's a tragic shooter of the ball. People say, oh, but it's low risk. How is it low risk? I think he cost us the game against Manchester United. He had a header that he knocked wide. He had a shot from the edge of the box that hit the roof of the stadium. He had another shot in the box, which was blocked. And then Skip plays a lovely ball out wide. He drives forward, gets into an unbelievable position, and he drags the shot wide. And I'm like, out of those 4 chances, all you got to do is score 1 and we win the game. That's cost us for me. Moments like that cost us. That's high risk, not low risk. And then you look at Veliz. I just don't know enough about him. I can't make a judgment on Veliz. So I don't understand why we couldn't just go and spend maybe 40, 50 million pounds on one creative goal scoring type player, or two players that have got something about them, a bit of trickery, a bit of craft, a bit of guile, a bit of putting defenders on the back foot where defenders are thinking, oh, I don't want to defend against you. Instead,
yeah.
You look at our players, other than pace, what's Timo and Brennan Johnson got other than pace?
Well, look, the one thing I always talk about when talking about this position is the frustrating thing for me is I don't think we're a million miles away from it.
We're not.
When I say it, people could decide what that means. I don't think we're a million miles away from it.
We need goal scorers.
What I do think is we need more goal scorers than Son. And we have spent, in the last 2-3 windows, we've bought in Werner, Solomon, Veliz, Hill was a few years ago now, but Brian Hill, Brennan Johnson, Kulu, who doesn't score that many as well, if we're going to be brutally honest, a good player, but doesn't score that many. I think we need 1 or 2 wingers, or definitely wingers, that when they get the ball still, put the fear of God into the fullback, right? Now, I'm not talking about GA, right? GA can sometimes be a bit of a myth. And what I mean by that is when you watch City play, Jeremy Doku, for example, is he raw? Yeah, he's really raw, right? He's really, really raw. Decision-making, all that kind of stuff. But when you watch Jeremy Doku, you look at it and go, there's a player there that's going to be coached. If he can have the last ball coached into him by Pep Guardiola and decision-making, look at the ability, the pace, the footwork, driving at players, taking them on. Then I look at Brennan Johnson and all the people. I knew when I started this for a reason. This conversation because it gets the chat 50-50, right? I'm seeing loads of people going, but give him time. It's not about giving him time. Still, I've watched this guy play loads. I've never ever once watched him play a game of football for Wales, for Forest, for Spurs, and gone yeah, I watched Cole Palmer the other day with Chelsea. Did a couple of things on that wing against his fullback against Fulham, and I went, "Oh, you can play. Like you can play." It just disappoints me. I really want the next window we go and put 70. Get a Michael Elise. Get someone where you go. That's a player. That's a footballer. Is it too much to ask?
Yeah, we need some flair. We don't have flair across the front three.
Yeah,
I think the other thing as well is that it's quite alarming that the best striker of the ball from a wide area and the best crosser of the ball from a wide area is our right back. Pedro Porro strikes the ball better than Timo and Brennan Johnson.
Yep.
And Pedro Porro's crossing is absolute top draw right now. Like, if part of me wishes we played Porro out wide on the wing, but then who have you got a right back? You've got no one.
Yeah. We had this chat the other day. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
He looks like a better winger than Timo or Brennan Johnson. Pedro Porro right now is one of the best right wing backs in the league, right? Yet we couldn't find a winger of similar level or thereabouts. It's like I question this data analytics, recruitment driven Scott Munn, Paratici, Johan Lange team. Because if the best they can do is Timo Werner, that says to me either you don't know what you're doing when it comes to attacking players, or there's a budget restriction and you've prioritized the money on another centre back because you spent 30 million on Dragusin.
Yeah, I mean, look, just quickly, a comment I wanted to bring up. I always get this comment is video complete Sofiane. Listen, the thing is, when you say Nunes barely scores, if you actually go and look at Nunes' stats for Liverpool, he's got 42 goal contributions in 72 games. And this is a guy that doesn't start and play 90 minutes week in, week out. Do I think Darwin Nunes is the greatest finisher I've ever seen? No, far from it. But you know what? When he's not scoring goals, I don't know if you've noticed this, Stel, he gives defenders a pain in the arse of a game. Yeah, he's strong, he's powerful, he drives at people, he contributes. I look at Johnson.
But Savva, this is a silly comment because look, I'm sorry, Sofiane. Nunes barely scores goals, but Salah does, Jota does, and so does Diaz.
And
they've got other options, and that's the point. They've got other options. What have we got other than Son? Like realistically, if Son isn't playing in the front three, who else is scoring goals for us?
No,
that's the argument, right?
I agree. I mean, it's like people saying against Man United. The number of people that said to me, "Oh, we should have easily won." And the question I'm asking is, but what did we create? Like realistically, people could look at the stats still and say, "I think it was something like 16 shots, 6 on goal." Can you name me 6 shots we had on goal, on target, in that game?
Okay, Man United.
Again, Man United. So you got the 2 goals. You got Richarlison's header. You got Bentancur fired it in. Right, Romero hit the bar from a header. Can you name me any other chances in that game that made you think we should have definitely won? I'm not saying we weren't the better team.
Bentancur took a shot from distance that went into the goalie's hands.
Right.
But overall, no, I don't. I remember the misses because I couldn't believe we missed. 2 of them were gilt edge. How we didn't hit the target, and they had Onana in goal. They've got Onana in goal, and we're not hitting the target. It's so frustrating. Like for me, how
people will see
Man
this as
United
negative.
were there for the taking. Man United were there for the taking.
People will see this as negative. For me, I'm not looking at it as negative. For me, I look at it that if we add that to our game, and I'm not saying we won't. By the way, everyone, I'm not saying we won't. But if we add, for me, 2 new forward players, whether that's a striker, whether that's one striker and a winger, 2 new wingers, I think if you can get a couple more forwards that make us really scary, we could be a real complete team here, you know. But this is the difference. You can play well against a Man United, but at no point did I think we're scoring here. I don't know about you. At no point when Werner got the ball, when Brennan Johnson got the ball, did I think we're going to terrorise these at the back. I just didn't think we were. And Sonny's the only one to really come back into that changes that, right?
I think Kulu as well adds something, but Sonny, yeah. I think if any of those Timo Werner chances fall to Son scores 2 out of the 4. 2 out of the 4, Son puts it in the back of the net. Or at least Onana's got to pull off a really good save, minimum. The other issue as well, our midfield doesn't really score goals as well, Savva. Like Bissouma doesn't score goals. Pape Sarr once in a while gets one in every 10 games, maybe. Maddison scored goals. I think Benton and Maddison are the only 2 midfielders I'd say. Actually, I'm talking myself out of this argument because Lo Celso does score as well. Maybe we do have.
Yeah, but they don't score. They don't score a lot. They don't listen. You know, we're not a goal scoring from midfield team where they get loads between them. But listen, I hear what you're saying. By the way, I always when people say Chelsea have spent millions, where has it got them? I mean, in the last 20 years, Chelsea spending millions has made them the most decorated team in England. So, if the question is where has it got them in the last 18 months, very different. But over the last 20 years, Chelsea have spent the most money and won the most trophies. So the correlation is there between spending and winning. So I think we've got to be really...
At what point did we say not spending enough money is the issue? I'm questioning how we spend the money, right? For me, you've spent 50 million on Brennan Johnson. Savva gave you a list of about 5 players we could have got this season for less that are far superior. That's the point.
Yeah. That's the thing for me. By the way, I think people do think that, don't they? They hear you go, oh, we need better. Oh, you just want to spend 80 million. Hang on. When West Ham went and got Jarrod Bowen, how much did they pay for Jarrod Bowen? Look at that guy. I don't know about you. I'd love Jarrod Bowen on our right-hand side. I would love Jarrod Bowen in our team. Scores goals, does his job, scares defenders. I just think we can do so much better than a Brennan Johnson and a Timo Werner. That's where I'm at with it. I'm cool with the Werner thing because he's on loan. But the Brennan Johnson thing at 50 million just really baffles me. So you think in the summer we spent 65 million on Brennan Johnson and Valise, right? You bought Solomon in as well. You bought Kulu in as well. And we still don't look frightening without Son.
I don't understand how you sold Harry Kane for £100 million and out of the 4 forwards you bring in, 2 of them are freebies. I just don't understand it. Like, okay, the odd freebie once in a blue moon, all right. But 2, Solomon and Timo in the same season. And we're saying that there's nothing ambitious about that for me. It just says to me, right, how can we save the maximum amount of money and get a player into this club that might do a job? We will not catch City and Liverpool by doing this. It's not going to happen. Look at Arsenal this year. They did the same thing. 65 million on Kai Havertz. They regret it now. It was a mistake when they did it. We said it. He had a little purple patch. He's proving that he's now holding them back. And Arteta's going to die on that sword. Had they gone and spent 65 million on the same kind of player that we are saying we want Spurs to sign, maybe Arsenal would be different right now. You know,
I'm glad they didn't. No, of course it's not just us. If Arsenal had gone out and got a Mohamed Kudus instead of West Ham, put Kudus in that Arsenal team, right? Huge difference in the way they play. But they spent 65 million on Kai Havertz. Same as us. We spent. Listen, I'm not saying we don't spend. I've never said that. But listen, things. By the way, this isn't to say things aren't going well. I think we've got it right at the back. I think we've got it right in midfield. We just can't seem to get these wide areas right. And what's happened, I've noticed still, is in the summer when I questioned it. I know you were one who questioned it as well. When I said, and transfer deadline day, I was very vocal. I do not want to sign this player. I do not want to sign him. It's not about giving him time. I don't want him. Right. The key thing that I said at the time was, if you just push the boat out and get one player you go, wow, one player that is technically there that can drive at teams, I think would be a real force. And that for me is the shame. Now, there's nothing to say we can't do that in this summer, though, is there still? We can't go and do that this summer. Go and get a couple of players like that.
There's no doubt in my mind that there's a plan for the summer, right? They've got targets. There's players they want to go and get. And I do think in the summer, certain things will be addressed. But for me, you all laughed at me, and I'll say it again. I said we are dark horses for the title, meaning I don't think we're going to do it. But you know what? Don't write us off just yet. Go and get 3 big signings and let's test the water. when that opportunity is there, and when the FA Cup looks like it might be something we can win this year, go and bring in those key pieces and be ambitious when the opportunity arises. This is exactly what happened with Harry Redknapp. We weren't expected to do well in that year. Yet we were 4 points off the top, and Redknapp said, "Get me these 2 players, I'll win you the league." And we said, no. We weren't expected to do well this year, but guess what? We're 5 points off top. We're in the FA Cup. It's the whole Redknapp thing again. Go and give this manager the players, and what do? Timo Werner.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I just think it's another, let's wait till next season. Till next season. Villa will be better next year. United are going to get their act together at some point. City will strengthen. Liverpool will strengthen. Arsenal will probably have a new manager, or they'll invest again. You got to take a chance when it's there. That's what life's about. Like, you might not want to leave your job. You might not want to change career, but someone says, "Do you know what? I'll double your salary because I think you're worth it." You've got to take these moments, right? When they come.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree. I think that it's all well and good just assuming because we're having a good year this year that it will just continue. But you're right. Top teams move players on. Top teams buy. They strengthen. And, you know, we've had these missed opportunities before under Redknapp, under Poch. I just hope that we're not missing opportunities again because we're going. And listen, it's the, you know, when people talk about the business end of the season, right? This is the business end of the pitch. This is the business end of the pitch. You've got to be scary in that front three. And whilst we do score goals, I don't think we're scary in that front three. And that's why, still, when everyone's predicting before every game, 4-0, 5-0, 5-1, 4-0, I don't know what they're watching to suggest that we're going to keep battering teams.
And we're an attacking team, remember? We're an attacking team.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, breaking news from Fabrizio Romano in the last 10 minutes, saying that Brentford are advancing in talks to sign Sergio Reguilon, a loan deal close to being agreed with Tottenham at the final stages. Discussions will follow on the player side, waiting for Reguilon's decision as several clubs are interested. Still, people in the chat to you as well. Good move for Serge. Is this going to be his last loan before we sell him in the summer? He'll have 1 year left on his contract. Good move for him.
Anything's good for him if he's playing football because he's not going to get any game time at Spurs. They don't want him. It doesn't fit Ange's plans. Sessegnon as well was announced today as a player that Ange doesn't want. So they're looking to move Sessegnon out. Another player that I was told, be patient. He'll come good. You hate on him. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Let me know in the chat. We won't go too deep into it with Reggie. I don't think there is too much going to. Let us know in the chat what you think. I've got a couple of super chats before I do. Big up to Phil P. Hope you're doing well, brother. I said, isn't it highly likely Werner is a stopgap before the summer window with the added benefit of covering Sonny while in the Asia Cup duty? Still, I think it's exactly a stopgap, isn't it? It's exactly that. But you're still allowed to be underwhelmed by a stopgap, right?
Well, he only covers Sonny if he scores goals because that's what Son does. So
yeah,
a stopgap for what? To me, Timo Werner is nothing more than just a body and pace on the pitch. People were waxing lyrical. Oh, he got an assist in his debut. Your granddad can make that 5-yard pass to Bentancur. Bentancur then had to take the ball, beat a Man United player in the box, open up his body and rifle it into the opposite top corner. All the hard work was done by Bentancur.
Yeah,
like it's like that Kulusevski last minute winner against Sheffield United where he's got the ball, beat a man, smashed it into the roof of the net. Richie got the assist. He made a 5-yard pass to Kulu. Kulu did all the hard work. It's like I understand what an assist is, but we've got to put some context on some of these assists.
Yeah,
if he plays a Luka Modric, Cesc Fabregas-esque killer pass through the lines, that's an assist. Yeah. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing just he made a pass 5 meters to the left. I mean, come on, we can do that blindfolded people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guy has said, Savva, the players have to want to come to us, not all do. I mean, let's be fair. We've got to be one of the better, more attractive teams in European football that people want to come to with what's going on. So when we're saying not all players want to come to us, that's down to the owners and Ange to make them want to come to us. So I hear you, but I don't see why would Cole Palmer have chosen Chelsea over Tottenham? Why would Kudus have chosen West Ham over Tottenham? What do you know what I mean? All of these clubs that why would he choose them over us? But listen, I hear you. Look, let me get some super chats. First of all, big up to Orox Beats, who's stuck in free here. So big up to you, my man. Very, very, very appreciative of this. Has said Orox said Elise release clause in the summer is £51 million. Orox Beats, Stella and I will talk about Elise straight after I've read out these super chats, but definitely this is the sort of player who is a game changer for me. We'll come to him in a minute, Stell. Remind me as soon as I finish. So big up to Oryx on that one. The next one from Oryx Beats has said, Greg Taylor of Celtic is out of contract in the summer. He was a regular underhand at Celtic. He knows the system. Perfect rotation for a doggy. Listen, could be, because one thing, Stell, for sure, next year in Europe, we will get Europe. You've got to have a bigger, deeper squad, right? You're going to be playing twice a week. It's what Newcastle have struggled with. It's what Brighton have struggled with. You've got to have the squad. Taylor, out of contract, left back, knows Ange's system. Bit of a no-brainer there, would you say?
Yeah, I think that's not a bad shout. We need cover at wing backs. We don't have any cover. Emerson Morale is a massive drop-off from Porro. Massive in every aspect of Porro's game. So we need cover in the left and right back. I think defence, we're kind of almost there. Goalie's goalie, but we don't have any cover for the wing backs at all.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Yeah, good shout, Orox. Before I read the last two out, guys and girls, come on. 485 of you in here, 189 likes. Smash that like button and come on, people. We've had 4 or 5 subscribers. Let's get 4 or 5 more by the end of the show, shall we? And nearly be at that 13K. Orange Pictures come in again and said we should pay for Jimenez now and loan him back. No, sod that. We should pay for Jimenez now and have him in our team. He will be cheaper if we do that. Yeah, I do see that. We'll talk about him as well in a minute, actually. Then in the summer, go for 2 proper wingers, break the bank. We'll come to this in a minute, Stel, along with Elise. Big up, Oryx. Really appreciate all of that, my brother. Thank you so much. And Anna Dawes, who's always very generous, always in the chat, and a channel member, has said, agree, it's a process. We have made bad recruiting decisions. We have for years. Getting results now isn't going to happen. Process takes time, lots of moving parts. If 2 to 3 years, no progress, then we react. Yeah, Anna, I've always said that I think the difficulty is that we're almost paying now for lack of planning and recruitment for the last 5 to 10 years. But that doesn't mean for me that we should go out and buy players like Brennan Johnson, because that just compounds to it for me. And I've got a feeling he's going to end up being another Sessegnon, Reggie, that ends up going out on loans and not playing. Not yet. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Big up to you, Anna. Thank you so much for being generous.
Can I, Savva, with that comment, right?
Yeah, go for it.
For me, we are 23 years into a 3-year project with League, right? This project, that project, this rebuild, this plan, that plan. The reality is this. We could all drop dead tomorrow, right? Touch wood, we don't. Do you not want to see your team win trophies, people? There is an opportunity this year to win a trophy. Give your manager the best chance he's got, realistic chance. I don't expect us to sign, like what some people say to me on social media, you want us to sign Mbappe. No, I don't. That's stupid. I want us to sign better than what I'm seeing at the moment in the attacking lineup. So at least Ange has got some tools to say, I can really give this FA Cup a proper crack. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for a 40-yard wonder strike, people, we would have had a replay away to Burnley in the FA Cup because we were abysmal. We were abysmal. We couldn't score. And they missed 2 sitters, man. So let's have it right. We can't keep saying in 2-3 years' time, let's judge. That's another 2-3 years without trophies. Now it's 25 years, 30 years. I stick to what I say. When opportunities arise, ambitious clubs, they seize the moment. Others just say, well, it takes time. Be patient. He'll come good in 45 years' time, you know.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree. And lots of people in the chat are saying that, you know, guaranteed that these top players don't want to come to Spurs. I mean, I've just mentioned Kudus going to West Ham. I mean, what I would give to have Kudus in this front three for Tottenham.
Maddison had no problem coming to Spurs.
Exactly.
Vicario was being held as one of the best goalies in the next 10 years by the legendary Buffon. He had no problem coming to Spurs. The Doge was being touted as the best left back in Italy at one point. He had no problem coming to Spurs. Romero won centre back of the season. He had no problem coming to Spurs. Bissouma, one of the best midfielders in his position, he had no problem coming to Spurs. Players have got no problem coming to Spurs if you pay the money to the club and you pay the wages to the player. Yes, Mbappe, Ronaldo, Messi, Aguero, they won't come to us. I get it. But the levels below, why not?
Yeah. I agree. I think that's the key thing. Stel and I have not once ever said, do you know who we need to go and buy? We need to go and buy Osimhen for 120 million. We need to go. Yeah. We've never said that. All I'm saying is there's some good players out there. And of all the wingers I watched in Europe last season, I cannot believe it was Brennan Johnson that came up top of that list. Thank you to the people that just subscribed. Let's get a few more. Let's go to the original super chat. Stel was Michael Elise.
Good player, man.
I mean, this is a guy that I think if he got the ball at his feet in the positions Brennan Johnson does, suddenly would you be a bit more excited? Would you be off your seat a bit more?
I think Eze and Elise at Crystal Palace are really good players. Did Elise come from QPR?
Elise came from Reading and Eze came from QPR. Okay. Yeah.
Because Chris Ramsey was the academy coach at Spurs who went to QPR. He developed Eze. So
see, when you're talking homegrown, that Palace are going and getting Eze's and Elise's. We're buying Brennan Johnson's and Ryan Sessegnon's. That's got to be dealt with. I think the real smack in the teeth with Johnson is if we bought him for like 15, 20 million, I don't know if we'd be having this chat. But when you're spending 50 million and Elise's release clause is 51 million, you're thinking, well, hold on a minute. You've got a proven talent that is tearing it up for the same price you've gone and bought this random, maybe. I mean, Gibbs White at Forest is better than Johnson. Quality player. He's better than Johnson. Well, how have we gone about the recruitment of Brennan Johnson? I'm just stunned. I'm stunned by the fee we've paid, because normally when you pay that kind of money, you expect instant impact. You expect someone's going to come in and you're going to like with Van der Ven. He came in, bang. Yeah. Romero came in, bang. Maddison came in, 45 million, bang. When you're spending 50 million and you're not getting an Elise type player, we've got every right to ask questions like, what? It's okay to admit that we got it wrong, right? Every club gets it wrong with signings. Yeah, of course. For me, I think we've got it. I think we've got this wrong. For the price we paid, Elise shits all over Brennan Johnson, man. Let's have it right, people. He shits all over him. Yeah, I think, listen, by the way, if I'll take all this back, if in the summer Spurs go and buy two proper forwards and we see Brennan Johnson, Solomon, and all these players being a bit part that might play some away games in the Europa League or League Cup or whatever it may be, I'm cool with it, right? I'm cool with it. But the thing is, if Danny Kiriakou summed it up nicely still, he said, if Spurs go and drop some money on a proper right winger now that you go, oh yeah, that's good, I don't mind, because then you spent your money on both. That's fine. But if we can't afford that player because 50 million was spent on Brennan Johnson, then that's a worry that somebody has identified that this guy is the guy that's going to take you to the next level. But look, I don't want to just pick on Brennan Johnson because we can't afford him because we've gone and got Timo Werner on a free. Yeah, well, Timo Werner's on loan, isn't he? So like we can. Well, yeah, but we've got him. No, we're just paying the wages. So if we had the money, if we hadn't blown the Brennan Johnson money, maybe we could have gone and bought something a lot better than Timo Werner and Brennan Johnson. So I think that big spend there has actually impacted us in this window at the moment. Will it impact us in the summer? No, because we'll have Europe, we'll have more cash flow. It won't. But right now, I think it has impacted us mid-season. Mm-hmm. So let me ask, we're only going to go for another 5-10 minutes, just short, sharp shows once a week on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. But still, there are still 15 days of the transfer window left. So far, we haven't seen any of the big boys move. None of them have put in a bid for a player. Man U, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea. My first question before we talk about Spurs in the transfer window: are you expecting some of those historical big clubs and the clubs that are above us? Are you expecting to see any late movement from them, or do the likes of Liverpool and City need to do anything in the market?
I think there will be movement. I think everyone's just being careful because of FFP. It's clearly now something that UEFA is coming down on. Profitable sustainability rules. The Premier League is now coming down on clubs. So the days of just doing what you want looks like it's coming to an end, and rightly so. So I think clubs are just being a little bit more shrewd now because they don't want a points deduction. Look, what happened to Everton was a message. You know, the bodies in power have sent a message to everyone. So I think they're just being a little bit shrewd. They'll get their finances aligned, their budgets, and then you'll see some movement. I think Arsenal will sign a player. I think if they don't sign anyone, I think their fans are going to turn against the club. I can see, not massively, but I can see there being problems amongst their fans. City, I don't think they'll sign anyone, Savva. I think they're pretty set.
Do they need to? Like, if you're Man City, where do you buy? What could you buy right now?
I'd buy a wing back because as good as City are, you can still get in behind them. Newcastle got in behind them twice and punished them.
You've always been able to get a City because teams that play that ultimate possession football, they know. It was the same Pep's great Barcelona team. Everyone always used to say to me when I wax lyrical about them, "Oh, but they're easy to get at." I said they're only easy to get at when they lose the ball, and they very rarely lose the ball. But I hear you, Newcastle. 2 breaks, 2 goals. I get you. So yeah, maybe a fullback.
I think they need a wing back with pace. A rapid wing back. Kyle Walker's getting on a little bit. Still not finished, but he's getting on a little bit. I don't think City will sign anyone. Liverpool.
I mean, they've got an abundance of players, haven't they? Because I'll tell you what, the thing was.
I can see them getting a loan player. I can see them getting a loan player.
Everyone said going into midfield, right? I'm glad you said that. Everyone said going into this season, they're going to be lightweight in midfield. Liverpool's midfield options are ridiculous. If you actually look at it, they've got Szoboszlai, McAllister, Endo, Gravenberch. They've got Curtis Jones, who's been brilliant this year. Every time I watch him, I'm thoroughly impressed with Curtis Jones.
Really good player. Really good.
Harvey Elliott, nasty little shit, but really good little footballer as well. They've got 6 players that can all play in that midfield area.
Maybe Liverpool. Do you know what? There's a strong chance that City and Liverpool probably won't sign anyone right now. They probably just think, you know what, we're all right as we are. But the only reason I say Liverpool probably will is because they're in 4 competitions.
They
might just want more squad depth. How seriously they take every competition, I don't know. But I think Arsenal will definitely sign someone, and then Villa. I think most clubs will sign at least one by the end of the window. I think they will, or at least a loan deal. Because the injuries are an issue this season. For many clubs, like look at West Ham right now. They've got so many injuries have just hit them. They're going to have to go and get in a couple of players.
And West Ham, West Ham have just lost their entire forward line.
And
I saw today. It came up. So they're playing Bristol City tonight in the FA Cup replay, and it came up. West Ham without was it Paqueta, Bowen, Kudos, and Antonio, and I thought, Jesus, who on earth is going to play for West Ham up front tonight? Is Danny Ings still there?
They're screwed.
Yeah, so big players. Yeah. So last thing I'll say. So look, Spurs have moved early. We've got 2 players in. There's still 15 days left of the transfer window. For the last 5 minutes, I want you to discuss, what do you think we will do anything else? Lots of people have been talking about a centre mid. Do you think we will? Do you think it depends on an outgoing? What do you think we'll do? And if we do, sorry, a really loaded question, this one, Stel. If we do, can you see it being another loan, or do you think we'll actually pay out?
I think if a Skip or Højbjerg moves on, we will probably try and bring in another midfielder. There's a lot of talk about Conor Gallagher. I'll be stunned if Chelsea sell their captain to Spurs. I'll be absolutely gobsmacked if that happens.
I agree.
If they're super desperate for the money, then yeah, it's possible. But then there'll be other clubs, I'm sure, that would want him. I actually think Conor Gallagher would be a good signing for Spurs. I actually think that is a good signing for the way we play.
Do you know what, Stel, right? So there was a stat that came out the other day. Loads of people were telling me, oh, we don't like Conor Gallagher. He's overrated. He's rubbish. And then the same people, right? The same people are saying, oh, but Ange's style, they've got to fit Ange's style. If Conor Gallagher isn't an Ange Postecoglou player, with his intensity, his work rate, with his driving forward with a ball. Now, this stat came up on Saturday still. I had to, honestly...
The thing is, Savva, if you play Conor Gallagher high up, then no, it's not a good signing. But if you want him to be in that midfield, carrying the ball from defence and then giving it to the forward players, being a bit of a Pape Sarr type player, anyone who thinks that isn't a good signing needs to go and watch Conor Gallagher. If you think he's going to be a Maddison-esque player, no, that's not Conor Gallagher. Not even close to that. You got to understand what type of midfielder he is, I think.
Just quickly, Paulie, I'd love to know. Let me know give me 5 players at another club I've overrated. I'd love to know this because what I get a lot, I don't know if you've seen this a lot since you've been in YouTube still, people put out statements like this. When you challenge them, you don't often get the answer. So give me 5 players at other clubs that I've overrated. Because I'm actually one of the people I'm very difficult to impress, as by the whole who is world class conversation.
Can we like Maurizio Pochettino has made him the captain. Do you know what a big thing that is for a young player when you've got a lot of big money signings in that team and you've got experience like Thiago Silva? Like Conor Gallagher was brilliant on loan at Crystal Palace. He's currently at a club that's a mess, right? Yet he's the one shining light for them at the moment. So I don't understand what... I think people think Conor Gallagher is a midfielder that he's not. He's not the midfielder you think he is. He's a work rate. He's a workhorse player. He carries the ball. He helps in the transition.
So, do you want to hear the stats?
Yeah, do you want to hear the stats? He's not that creative goal scoring midfielder, Savva. He's not that kind of. That's not his attributes.
But listen, here's the stats from Conor Gallagher. A few different stats, right? This is from the top 5 leagues. This is every player from the top 5 leagues. Conor Gallagher is the only player to have 20 or more shots. He's the only player to have created 20 or more chances and had 20 or more shots. He's completed the most dribbles of any player. He's had the most touches of any player in the opposition box. He's got the most tackles and the most interceptions. Yeah? Those 5 things, right? Love him, hate him, whatever. How can you... We can't just look at that and go, yeah, but he's crap. Are you telling me Postecoglou would look at Højbjerg, look at Skip, look at the injuries of Bentancur and Bissouma that he gets and Sarr and Maddison's injury and go, do you know who would be a perfect complement for our midfield for next year in 4 competitions? Conor Gallagher makes absolute sense to me. And those stats, when it came up still, right, the commentator said it. You know when you hear something and you think, did I hear that? And in the middle of the game, I rewound Sky. I went, gee, wow, like that's impressive for a guy that I was told passes backwards and sideways. He's got the most completed dribbles. He's got the most shots. He's got the most touches in the opposition box. Last year, the stat he held over everyone else was of all midfielders, he got forward more than any other midfielders to go and join in with the play.
I think the only thing with Conor Gallagher is he's not a goal scorer. That's the one thing I'll say. I don't rate him as a goal scorer, but everything else, I think there's someone there that 100% comes in and does a job for Spurs that is far better than Højbjerg and what Skip offers us at the moment. And like Paulie in the chat says, so Savva, why aren't Chelsea higher than 10th with those stats? Because you're looking at a team.
One player.
Well, this is it. Chelsea is a team. Conor Gallagher is an individual. So you've taken 10th, a team stat, and compared it to the individual stats. it's like you're trying anything to find a way to dismiss that Conor Gallagher is actually a good player. I don't think Conor Gallagher's a worldie of a player, but I think he can definitely come in and do what Pape Sarr does. He can definitely come in and do what Højbjerg does. And I think he can progress the ball in a team that likes to build up the play and transition. So I've got nothing against us signing Gallagher. But I don't think we will sign him, by the way, because
I don't think we will. I would like it though. Like I think that you have to have. Do you know one other thing that Conor Gallagher's got? Availability. That guy, come rain nor shine, plays for Chelsea, whether it's 6, whether it's 8,
he doesn't get injured,
10.
does he?
He's always playing. Always, whenever you watch him, constantly. Yeah. He comes to Spurs, he do his hamstring. A couple of comments I want to get to. Savva Stel, I mean, you could say that of many footballers that they're not match winners, but not everyone you buy. Listen, when you buy and put together a squad, you don't buy everyone as a match winner. You put players in that fit the cog, that fit the wheel, right? You've got to have all sorts in there.
Look at N'Golo Kante for Chelsea and Leicester City, right?
Oh,
did he score, create? That guy was arguably the best player in both teams for all those seasons. What he brought to the midfield, I'm not saying Conor Gallagher's N'Golo Kante, by the way. I'm just saying N'Golo Kante wasn't a wow, what a Zidane, Ronaldinho player. But my God, man, what he did for those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Gunnar Nels, listen, when you're saying he ain't the player you need, listen, Spurs need to build a squad. You need a squad of all sorts. People look at a 1 to 11. Nowhere have I said bring in Conor Gallagher and he has to start every single game for Tottenham. Next year still, we could play up to 60 games with Europe as well. Right? Up to 60 games with Europe. You've got to have footballers. I just want to go to Super Chat and a couple of comments. I tell you, a couple of comments that really do make me laugh. First of all, say Gunnar Nelson said, City are good, Savva, but they're not some invincible team. I mean, first of all, I've never said they're invincible, but they are the informed team in world football. They've lost 1 in 19, won 9 out of their last 10, and are scoring goals for fun. Everyone wrote them off, and they're 2 points off the top with 7 good games to come.
Good and Nels, Man City have had their worst ever start to the first half of a Premier League campaign under Pep. Their worst, and they're 2 points off the top. They're in the FA Cup, and they're in the Champions League. They blitzed their group. Where are you going with this?
Yeah,
where are we going with this? Right.
And your mates come back. You started this with this guy. Paulie says, Savva, you overrated. Hear it every week, mate. You just waxed Liverpool about the Liverpool midfield, which are way worse than what I had 3 years ago. Now, Stel, this is what I love. You know when I always say 2 of these and 1 of these, right? I didn't wax lyrical about the Liverpool midfield. I said they've got loads of options in that Liverpool midfield. I named you 6 players as probably a reason why they might not need a 7th midfielder. By the way, I do think Liverpool got some very good midfielders, Paulie. Nowhere did I say this midfield is better than the midfield that won them the league. This is a brand new midfield for them. So, Paulie, use your ears, mate. You're embarrassing yourself.
Do you know what the issue is with comments like this? I get it all the time on social media. When we say Bentancur's quality and Maddison is one of the signings of the season, it's almost like you forget that we've praised our Spurs players. You forget how much we've bigged them up, and you just home in when we praise other clubs' players, and you deem it as us shitting on our club. It is this selective hearing, cherry picking to make us sound that we're something that we're not. I get it all.
Yeah, it's like some people will take away from the show. Forget that we praised Bentancur. Forget that we've praised Van der Ven and Maddison and Vicario. Right? What they'll do is they'll go, "Oh, those 2 are well negative. They don't like Brennan Johnson." That will be the takeaway from it, won't they?
Yeah.
You know, it's like if I have a conversation with my wife, and if I've said 10 things. If I've said 10 things throughout the day, 9 of them could have been lovely. She'll pick on the one thing that she didn't like, and that will be what she remembers the next day. It will be the 10th thing.
We literally said about 20 minutes ago.
Big up to the wife.
Right, big up to the wife. We literally said 20 minutes ago, we are almost there as a team. We're almost there.
Almost there.
No, I'm not listening to that. Tell me about Liverpool. What did you say? It's like...
Yeah. This guy, interesting. Look, Nell said, do you guys agree the Prem has been weak? I do think it is weaker than it's been for years. You say City ain't even been that good. I think the difficulty is what do we consider to be good? Because, you know, they've lost 1 in 19. If Tottenham, I know you're not a Tottenham fan, but if Tottenham had lost 1 in 19, our fan base will be telling us we're the best team in world football, right? But when City lose 1 in 19, it's they've not been that good. They're on fire, by the way, Stel. City are on fire at the moment. And a lot of our fans, I think, more that it's hope than expectation, are talking down about them.
I think that a lot of the competition's improved as well, and it's kind of closed the gap a little bit. Like Villa are far better this season than what they've been in God knows how long. Spurs are better than what they were last season. West Ham, they're doing well this year. So I think there's been so-called not the biggest clubs like City, Chelsea, Cities. There's other teams that have just improved their game as well this year. Like we can say, oh, but Villa are only doing well because Chelsea, Man United dropped off. Yeah, but I think Villa have improved as well, though. I think Spurs have improved from last season.
Do you know the thing is as well with Villa? I mean, when you look at them, I don't think they've got there's no world-class players there. There's no standout players there. What they've done is built a very solid squad of footballers.
They're well organised. They're doing what the manager wants them to do.
They are, but you know what I mean, Still, when you look at the back, you don't go, he's world-class or world-class midfield, but they've got a lot of options of solid Premier League players that come in and do the job. And I think they've got that right. Listen, we are going to wrap up the show in 30 seconds. We are going to wrap up the show. Listen, really, really enjoyed it. But before we do,
Savva, by the way, you didn't tell us if you think we're going to sign anyone.
I think we will, depending on Højbjerg. I think if Højbjerg goes, which I think he will want to, then I think we need to get another midfielder. And I've always said my pick for number one, who I would go and get, is Matt O'Reilly. I've said that a number of times. Matt O'Reilly is the guy I would go and get. He's strong, works hard, scores goals, assists, can pass, good engine, knows the Ange system. There's no way we can't go and get him out of Celtic. You're not telling me we can't go and get a player out of Celtic. No way. So I'd take him. Orox Beats said, sick of fans who don't get you need a 22-man squad. Absolutely, Orox. We've got to stop saying, where does this player fit into our team? We need a squad. Really, really appreciate all of your support today. Thank you. You've been very generous. And the last super chat from Daniel Hammett has said, sell Solomon for profit. Hill, Richarlison to the Saudis. By Noosa to back up Son, Jimenez and Neto Elise. Kulu is back up to 10. Now we are scary. I can't disagree with any of that. I can't.
That's an improvement on everything we've got right now.
Absolutely. So big up, Daniel. Completely agree with you. When you're talking about the Netos and the Elises and the Noosas and the Jimenezes, players that get you off your seat. Thank you so much.
Here's the thing. If we were to say that,
we're negative. Yeah. Absolutely. Look, we are going to end the show there. Guys and girls, please get over to Tottenham Away. The link is in the bio of the show. Get over to Tottenham Away. Help these guys get to their wherever they want to get to on their subscribers. Please subscribe to me as well. We're 155 away from 13K. So please do go and subscribe. Like the show. Much love. We'll be back next week. And as always, come on, you Spurs.